All right, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? It's a Monday. I'm going to start calling Mondays Media Mondays. So what we're going to do on Mondays is I'm going to go over a tutorial of like an edit or a beat that I'm working on. And that way we can talk about the process and go through everything and look at how everything gets made from my end. And it'll help, kind of guide along the process of what you might be doing or what other people might be doing. Or if you're curious about stuff, this is how we're going to work together to be able to bring that out. So today, as I alluded to last week, is we've been working on this Jayson Tatum edit with him being back on the Celtics now. And it's kind of like a welcome back video that I've been working on, piecing footage together, but it's not done. So I wanted to walk through the process together to show like what we're doing and how we're going to be able to get this. All right. So first things first is I have DaVinci open and I have all of this here. Okay. So what I want to be able to do in DaVinci is I want to have all of the, excuse me, like have all of the clips and everything lined up exactly how I want it to be and how I want it to sound. That way, it is what it is. So I have everything lined up for, sorry, I just realized that, you probably won't be able to hear it if I play it. All right. So I got this Tatum edit here. I'm going to show you the base edit of what I've done so far. And then we're going to go over like the ins and outs of what it's going to look like overall and how this is going to kind of shape up. So this is what I came up with so far.
What can I say? I'm back.
It is the news that Celtics fans have long been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I have a real sense of gratitude just to hand back playing basketball again.
By Jayson Tatum.
So a little edit there, a couple highlights from his first game back and his second game back, and a little bit of the behind the scenes, long layout with a layover of a beat that I made that is out on all streaming services right now. So this is just a broad edit, but as you can see here, this is the text effect that I went into in the short form video last week. So it's got the he's back right there with Jayson Tatum playing in the background. But if you notice that I also applied the freeze frame that I went over last week right here, but I want to have like a nice film burn transition or something right there. And I want to make this a little less choppy. So as you saw, it's a little less choppy. I also want to clean up the background dialogue of Tatum talking. And that way, everything just kind of flows a little bit smoother. So we're also going to walk into the color grading process because as you can see, like this clip is wildly different than this clip. And then this clip has a different like green than this clip. So a lot of the color is inconsistent. So we're going to go over how to check that and match that as well. So the first place I like to go for like transitions and effects and all sorts of other stuff is motion array. So I have all sorts of DaVinci plugins and effects and tutorials. So like that's a cool little film burn effect. So I might want to get that one. Ha. It would help if I signed in first. Okay, so I'm going to sign in first. Let me just mute that and get that going. And I'll show you how I walk through everything with motion array. I believe I have an account. with this email. Come on. There we go. All right, so let's see, before I do anything, if I can download it first. I think I have to do... That's weird. Oh. Haha. All right, so there's not a lot of effects on Motion Array. So we're going to move away from Motion Array. I actually have a Google Drive folder that has a lot of different assets and everything in it. So I'm going to go to that real quick and go through all the assets on that front. Let me just look for it. The folder's like humongous. There we go. All right, so there's all the LUTs. Just the LUTs. I got to find the filters. There's just so much stuff that I have. I got to find where. Here we go. All right, so I have a lot of like assets and film transitions and stuff. So I'm going to download this folder. It is going to take a minute. All right. So before we get into that, and before we get into any of the assets and stuff and start adding transitions and stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first work on this audio. So this audio right here is where I want everything to kind of meld and sound a little better and to not be as like muffled. The thing is with DaVinci is that if I go over to my inspector here, you'll be able to see that for this particular clip, I added the voice isolation and the AI dialogue leveler. So you're already going to hear. So like if I mute the audio, the music track.
At this point, I had a real sense of gratitude at just being back.
It still sounds very robotic, right? It doesn't really sound how I really want it to. It's because of that that background noise. So like if I play it,
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude at just.
so it still sounds a little like muffled, right? So what I want to do is I want to come over to my Fairlight tab and I want to add a couple of effects, like third-party effects.
Being back.
Okay. So I have this here. I'll come over to, this is audio 1. I'll move this particular audio down to like audio 4. So let's just make sure that continuously matches up. It does. So I'll move it down to audio 4. That way it's non-destructive. I'll come over to my mixer. I'll go over to audio 4. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot of effects already on here, right? So what I want to do is I want to add effects. Now, you have all sorts of regular DaVinci effects, but what I like to do, and if you are a video editor and you're really into like doing your own sound design and doing your own like audio mixing for your short films, or even if you're a music producer, what I like to do is add a UAD plugin called Avalon. So once I find all of my plugins, let's see. UAD Hemisphere, Studer Tape. Where is Avalon? UAD, is it under compression? There it is. UAD Avalon, right? Oh, that's the wrong one. So I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do the other one. Sorry. Channel strip. There we go. So this is a Avalon vacuum tube compressor. If you're ever been in a music studio before, you would know that this comes in a rack mount. When I was first coming up and learning how to audio mix and learn how to do all the ins and outs of like audio engineering, I was able to mess around with one of these right off the bat. But UAD took it, Universal Audio took it and put it and made it into a plugin. So what I like to do is I like to go to their vocals. And if I know, like, Jayson Tatum's a male, right? So I want to be able to bring out like a rumbly male voice. So if I know that, I want to see, let's see. I like the vocal Sheen Machine or the vocal tracking EQ. So let's hear the difference in sound when I start to play that now.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point.
So you still hear a little bit of that noise in the back. So I still want to get rid of that. Let's try like a hip hop lead.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point.
A little bit better. You want to be able to get rid of a lot of that kind of vocalness, like the robotic digital sound.
Coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude.
All right, so now we have the de-esser's gone, right? So it adds, it takes away any of that de-esser noise that's in there. So now what I want to do is I want to add an EQ, and my go-to EQ for Universal Audio plugins is the Hitsville. I love the Hitsville EQ. It's one of my favorites. And of course I added the wrong one. I really got to get rid of the powered ones. UADX, Hitsville EQ. All right, so again, Universal Audio went in and they made plugins based off of Motown. So like this is like a Motown EQ. It's one of my favorites. I use it for drums. I use it for vocals. It gets a cool, warm sound that you really want. So I have this here. I'm going to go to lead vocal presence. Now let's hear how this sounds with the compressor and the EQ.
Waiting for
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point.
Heck of a lot better. So now if I go back to my edit tab, and I unmute the music.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude to just being back playing basketball again.
Perfect. It sounds exactly how I want it to, right? So a lot of the sound that you're going to want to be able to use, like a lot of those like EQ sounds, you want to make it sound as less robotic as humanly possible. And a lot of the times, unfortunately, you're going to run into is if you're trying to use any of these AI tools like the dialogue leveler or the voice isolation, it's gonna sound super robotic. Now, DaVinci does come with its own like audio plugins. So if I go back to the Fairlight tab, I go over to effects, and I go to Fairlight effects. Like it does come with its own de-esser, dehummer, delay. It has the dialogue processor, the distortion. It has a EQ, a Fairlight EQ. I don't like to use DaVinci's stock plugins. It's just a personal preference of mine. If you have the free version and that's all you have access to, fine. Go absolutely nuts with it. But if you have the studio version and you have like even Apple's own base plugins, if like not base plugins, Apple's stock plugins. Like if you have an Apple computer and you even have GarageBand, it comes with an EQ, a compressor, a multi-band, I think, a chain add-on. So it has a lot of different things that you can use to like add to your sound to get it there. But I suggest fully that if you were to like do anything like your own sound design or your own kind of music production stuff, definitely take some time to invest in yourself. I think it's like they usually go on sale for like $160, $170 for the bundle for UAD. So I would say definitely take the time to go out and do that. And see what you can do in terms of like the overall mixing and things of that. You know, it's entirely up to you how you want to be able to kind of do what you want to do, but you know, just take my advice. That's all you can do, right? So, what I want to do is I want to add a lot of different transitions and stuff to this whole thing. And I want to be able to add like that film burn, and I want to add like something. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of couple of effects back to my edit page and be able to make these transitions a little smoother. So like right here, I would like a little bit of a transition. Right here, I'd like a transition. At the freeze frame, I would like one, and then I would like one probably in between here and here, right? So a lot of effects I've downloaded and acquired over the years. There's just a lot. It's a very overwhelming folder. I downloaded one of those gigantic, like, you know, a million effect bundles. One of those giant things that you put on sale every now and then for like $1.75, and it has like way too many things in it. I downloaded one of those, and I have a lot of stuff. So like I have damaged film look, and I have like I have like all these different things. So what I want to do is I want to add like a lens flare or a light leak. They have like green ones. They have like lens effects. That just adds like a little bit of a regular effect. So I want to add like a kind of like a I would say like, I don't know how to explain what I want to try and say. Kind of like a light leak, but not a light leak. So I have a cool like glitch overlay that I can use. That I'll probably put that right here. So I have this little glitch overlay here. So as you can see, any effects that you want to add on top, I like to put them on a new video track. So I'll right click here. I'll just go to add track, move it up. So it'll play, right? So it'll play right here. So what I like to do is I like to start it a little bit before and kind of move in here. Okay. So it will
waiting for a long time coming. Just
okay. So it obviously plays over it. You can't see anything. So what you'll do is you'll come up to your inspector and you'll go to composite mode. And I either like to do like an alpha channel. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, as you can see. I like to do screen. I like to do overlay. Okay, so overlay will go over both.
I've been waiting for a long time coming. Have long been waiting for a long time coming. Just
see, so like if you get the composite right, it'll do it. Luminosity, you can do screen, you can do difference, you can do darken. So like if I do difference,
long been waiting for a long been waiting for a long time coming just to get to this point.
So you get that cool little kind of glitch effect right there. So it keeps all of that tone.
I've been waiting for a long time coming just to get to this point.
And it adds a neat little transition right there, right? So you have to mess around with the composite mode in order to add those things that are there. Just in keeping with the tone, maybe I'll add a different glitch overlay in between that transition there outside of the text. So I'll go like right at the end of the text instead of a fade right when that kick comes in. So I'll go here. So like right here.
Basketball game.
So maybe I'll add adding difference like adds this cool little tonal effect. So watch. I like that. That's cool. All right, so this is the transition.
It is the news that Celtics fans have long been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude just being back playing basketball again.
All right, so like whenever you're adding these types of effects, make sure that you're adding them on top and then messing around with the composite settings as you move forward. So again, all of my effects are going to be on video 4. So even if you want to rename this track instead of it being video 4, you can extend it here. It'll allow you to rename it in most cases. If not, oh, there we go. So I will say video 4 is going to be effects. Okay, so now all of my effects and overlays and transitions are gonna be right here, right? If I want to add extra graphics and stuff, maybe I'll add it on the top of video 3, but I have everything of what I want it to add right here. So I have these two. Now let's look for a light leak. So like kind of like a lens flare. I need like a quick one. All of these are kind of like screensavery, and I don't want those. There we go. There's all my film burns. All right. So I'll do like a film burn effect. So again, right where that freeze frame is, like right here. Okay. I'll add like a film burn. So like this is where the, okay. So that film burn, you know, very popular effect, but I will go ahead and do that again. So like, maybe I won't do difference with that one. I'll do overlay. So like, maybe not. That one's pretty cool. Color's pretty cool too.
By Jayson Tatum.
All right, so I have all these little effects that I wanted to add, right? So you want to mess around and get like the transition. So like I can even fade it out a little bit if I really wanted to by just dragging the little white marker there. So it'll create something in the Fusion tab that allows it to fade out. So that looks pretty cool, right? So I have two glitch effects in the film light leak that's there. And that's kind of the look I wanted to go for this. So that way, if I play it from like here again.
I've been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude just being back playing basketball again.
All right. So now what if you want to add something like, you know how they have that like split bar here and here. Okay. There's two ways that you can do it. You can either add under Resolve Effects, it allows you to add shapes. So you can add shapes if you really want to. No. Man, I don't really want to do that. What do I have to do it in the clip tab? I got to do it in the clip tab. Close media pool, go to effects. All right. So I can do borders, I could do shapes, I could do blur effects, I could do like color generating, I could change the color palettes of all of these. I could do all of these in the clip the clip page if I really wanted to. However, what I've learned over time is I'm starting to learn and get a little bit better at the Fusion page. And the Fusion page, I mean, it does a little bit, it's a little bit of a learning curve. But if you've ever used After Effects, it allows you to be able to kind of get a lot of those motion effects that you would normally make in After Effects. So if I want to add just kind of those white bars that go from here to here, right? I could do it one of two ways. I could drag a square image in if I really wanted to and just adjust it, again, if I really wanted to. Or I can add an adjustment layer. So I'll come over here under Toolbox, and I'll look for adjustment clip. Okay. I'll drag it on top here. Okay. So now any changes that I can make, I'm not making it here and I'm not making it to the text. What I'm going to make it for is just here. And I'm going to create a fusion composition with the adjustment clip. So with the adjustment clip selected, I'll right click it. Usually it would let me go to the Fusion tab. Let's see if I just go to Fusion and just let it do it. Clips. Yeah, there we go. The adjustment clip, right? So now I have my adjustment clip selected. I have it here. I can see it. My media in is going to be here. My media out is going to be here. So what I can do in the Fusion page in order to get that kind of widescreen feel, right, is I will add the rectangle tool. Okay, so I'll have my media in selected. Add a rectangle tool. Now it'll mask it automatically. I don't want to do that. Okay, I want to add it to here. Okay. And I want to add the rectangle tool to be here. Okay. I want to adjust the size of it, but I also don't want to, like, as you can see, it kind of messes up everything here. So actually, let me delete this rectangle. Okay. So I want to go to my media in. I'll add a merge node. Okay. So now in my merge node, that allows me to create multiple rectangles at once. So I'll be able to then go to rectangle again. There's my merge node. Now, where do I want this to go? Where do I want this to be? So I'm going to position it and be a certain color. So it's here, it's here. And I want to change that to just be a box. Change the soft edge. Invert to solid color. But I don't want it to be center. I want it to be here. And I want it to be the width to go the whole thing. Okay. Maybe go a little bit up more. So here, right? So now I got a rectangle there, but I don't want that to be black, right? I want to change that. So what I want to do is add a color. Okay, so I'll hit shift space. Okay, shift space allows you to bring up this menu, right? So I'll add a color palette, add. Okay, I'll do everything off. Apply this here. Maybe color palette's not the one. See, again, still learning. Shift space again. Look for color. Color generator, add. There we go. So now my rectangle, okay, now I want to invert it. Okay, now it's going to be white. Okay, so now I got this white box, but I don't want it to have like that drop shadow or that blur at the top. Okay, I don't want to have that at all. Okay. I want to have white. Okay, so now I got this color generator here. Maybe I'll move the rectangle again. Or I'll change it to the Gaussian blur. And I'll change that to go here. All right, so now I got this little thing. Okay, so now what happens if I want to add another one? Okay, I'll go here, copy, paste. Okay, rectangle one, but I'm gonna go this onto merge one. And I'm gonna change the position of it to be on the bottom. Okay, so my color generator here, off the rectangle. Come on, man. I'm trying to get them all to connect and it's just not working how I want it to. So do I gotta add another merge node? I think I have to add another merge node. There we go. So now I got both of these here, right? So now I got, it's again, Fusion's a little bit tedious. So I apologize for the lack of talking there, but Fusion's a little different, right? So now I got the rectangle here, both color generated white. So if I go back to my edit page, as you can see, it does it with the clip.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude just being back playing basketball again.
Okay, so maybe I'll cut off, or maybe it's got to render a little bit, right? So I'll fade out the white and I'll fade in the adjustment clip, right? So now if I add the glitch here and I close it out.
It's
been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude just being back playing basketball again. Basketball again.
Okay, so it's still rendering the fusion composition a little bit with the adjustment clip. So maybe what I want to do is, this is also if you're, all right. So what I want to do is I want to change my playback speed. If you're realizing you got a lot of stuff on your like composition or your timeline and it's rendering a little bit slow, if you come up to playback and you go to timeline playback resolution and you go to half, it'll be less computer intensive. The footage is going to come out a little bit like blurry and stuff unless you're using proxies, but it'll help render the fusion compositions in place a little bit faster. So like now let's see what it'll do here.
long been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude just being back playing basketball again.
So it's still not rendering how I want it to. So I'll start it. I'll end the composition at the
Basketball.
So that's what I'll do, right? So let's change the resolution again, see if it renders a little bit better.
Been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point. I had a real sense of gratitude just being back playing basketball again.
Perfect, right? So the fusion composition is still going to be there with the adjustment clip. As you can see, if I go over to the Fusion page, it still keeps all of this. You're going to have to continuously add a bunch of merge nodes the more you add to the Fusion. And that's just how it is. You might see people who use DaVinci have like 1,000 different things in their Fusion page and their tree. It's just how it is. You know, a lot of different ways of doing it. You know, it doesn't have to be clean. You see people stacking things all over the place. Me, I'm just a whole mess load of organized chaos. So I try to make it as simple as humanly possible. All right. So I have all the different effects that I want to be able to use, right? I got the overlay here. I got this here. I got this here. So what I want to do to help my my computer out a little when I go to my color page is I'll disable these videos for now so that it'll render correctly, right? So now let's go into color grading this and finishing this up. So if I go over to my color page, right, I'm going to see that all of these different clips. Okay. Let's disable the text too. That way I could just work with what I want to work with.
Coming just to get to this point.
No idea why that's not showing up, but fine. It's the same color grade for this one to this one because it's the same clip, right? So I want to be able to match the greens from, say, this clip to this clip, right?
What time news that?
Okay. As you can see, the greens aren't as prominent in this clip as they are in this one, as they are in this one. So you want to change it out. Now, what you want to be able to look at is your vector scopes, right? So right now I have my vector scope here. As you can see, the reds are out of control. It's leaning more towards the green. That's kind of what I want. So before I even do any of this, I like to build out and start just building out my tree. So I hold down Option, hit S, create 4 serial nodes right off the bat. Now, usually for me, I'll use node number 1 in my color tree as the LUT. So if I have to convert something, if I don't want to use color space transform, I'll add just my conversion LUT, especially with like the extra muse, and then I'll color grade everything here. I usually use this for saturation and contrast. I'll use this to adjust my wheels, and I'll go here to just kind of do any other fine tunes with all of the colors that I have here. Everybody's node trees are going to be different. Everybody's color trees are going to be different. If you add a power grade, it's going to look different. So a lot of these different colorists and people who do this for a living, they do it differently than most others, just because that's how it is, you know? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a look. I'm going to change this from vector scope to parade. Now I'm going to see flat out, my reds are out of control. My greens and my blues are not lined up. What you want to get to okay, is to have all of these be as even as humanly possible, right? You want to get these to be kind of matched out. So instead of me looking at my color wheels flat out, I'll look at my offset, my gain, I'll look at my gamma, and I'll look at my lift. I mainly want to look at my gain as far as saturation, and I want to look at my offset, and I like to kind of adjust the contrast accordingly. Now, if you want to be that guy to go ahead and do your white balance first, go right ahead. A lot of people do the RGB mixer. I'm going to start with the RGB mixer, okay? So I'm going to preserve the luminance here. I could turn it to monochrome so I could try and see what the actual blacks and stuff are going to be. But as you can see, my blues are out of control. Okay, I want to turn up my blues to match my greens. Okay, turn down my reds. Okay. Okay, and as you can see now, it's a little bit washed out. That's fine. This is balanced. Okay, my greens are still a little bit out of control, but that's to be fair because, you know, Celtics. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to do. So with the same thing here, okay, as you'll see, if I play this clip a little forward, okay, all of these are pretty much balanced. Okay, the blues need to go a little bit, but it's pretty much balanced. Okay, the blues I might want to turn up a little. Okay, maybe turn the greens down, be like there, then turn the reds down to balance it out. Now I go back to the blues. Okay, maybe the blues and the green need to go up a little. Okay, that's probably the best I'm going to get it for just balancing out the color the right way, right? So as you can see, all of my scopes in the parade are pretty much thing. If I go back to vector scope, this is all pretty much lined up. You want to make sure that your vector scopes are as close to dead center as humanly possible. Again, your greens, because it's the Boston Celtics, their uniforms are green. So the greens are going to stand out. Now, what you can do after you balanced out your color is build out your tree accordingly. So at that point, I'm going to go to my high dynamic range and I'm going to go to my curves and try and balance it that way. Now, instead of looking at the curves, I like to do hue versus hue. Just because if there's people with different skin tones, you know, it's basketball, it's sports, there's going to be people with different skin tones there. So that way you'll be able to look at the vector scope overall. So what I like to do is I like to turn it back on parade. I like to turn it back on vector scope. So if it's a clip where there's going to be skin tone, where's the one I started already, right? If there's a clip where it's going to be skin tone, so let's balance out this one. As you can see, this one's way out of control. Okay. So the greens are going to come down here. The reds are going to come down. Okay. And then maybe when I go, I'll pull this up more. Okay. When I go to color grade. Now, what I want to do is when I look at skin tone, right? So he's darker, lighter, white. They're all different, right? So on my second node, I'll turn this back to vector scope. I'll go here, display qualifier focus. This will bring up my dropper. Okay. I'll get his skin tone. Okay. So let's get actually let's match it to Tatum's, right? So what that will do is if I adjust just this node, okay, I'll be able to match exactly how I'm supposed to do it based off of his skin tone. Okay, I'll go here. Okay, I'll be able to match it and make it look how I want it to. Maybe I'll change a little bit of the exposure and the contrast just based off of how he looks, or I can mask him out completely just depending on what I want this color to look like, right? So color grading definitely takes the most time out of, you know, everything that's here because of how in depth you have to get, right? So now what I can do Okay, if I want to get like a little bit of a curve going on here, okay, I'll turn down the brightness, curve it a little.
Hey, I'm back.
I want to get the wood to stand out, but I want the green to stand out more. Okay, so if my color's all balanced, okay, I get a little bit of a curve going on towards the green. Maybe I'll change this here, add another node. Okay, still a little bright for me. Maybe I'll just adjust the green a little. I want to get the green to stand out, but I don't want it to destroy the whole image, right? So as you can see, the greens are starting to balance out. The blues are still not balanced at all, so I have to go and change the blues a little. You want to pay attention to your scope as you're doing this, because if you're going to fall out of range, you don't want to mess with the overall output. Okay. So if I want this to be here, nope, that's going to change that. So I want to change that tail end. Okay. As you can see, the tail end of that blue isn't matching up right. So if I change a little bit of that clipping in the blue and match it up here to 768, I'll go back, turn on the link. Okay. So now I get like just a basic kind of outline. Now it's still going to look washed. That's fine. Because now what I want to do is come over here to my chroma warp. I want to change this to hue versus saturation. And I want to look at where my balance is not, right? So I want to be able to at least pull these down to get the color that I want. Maybe I don't want the saturation, okay? Notice now I'll get kind of a look that I want. I want to change the greens. Okay. I want this to be dead center. Okay. I want all of these to be pulled okay, so now the reds are out of control. The blues are out of control. Pull it away, pull it away. Okay. So if I disable this node, okay, it's getting more to like a black and white. Okay, maybe I don't want to do that. Okay, maybe I want to just kind of brighten this up a little bit. See, it's all just a matter of how you want your color to look overall. Okay, maybe I don't like this look either. Maybe I'll reset that too. Okay, so now what I'll do here is I'll go back here and I'll change just the contrast. Okay, now the green's a little bit darker, but notice this is still off. Okay, so I'll go back to my RGBs and I will turn down the reds again. Turn down the greens a little. Turn down the blue, turn up the blues. Okay, now I got a cool little kind of saturated effect there. Okay, just based off of adjusting the shadow. Okay, so now if I want to do like a little bit leaning towards the green on my global exposure, now it gets you a little bit more of a warmer tone. I'll turn it warm a little. Bam, that's a cool little cinematic green that's there. Cool. But okay, so now this is still kind of balanced. My blues and my greens are out of control. If I want to come back here and adjust it, I can. I don't want to, okay? Because what I want to do now is I want to mess with my color slicer, right? So I want to turn the greens up. Okay. Cool. Turn the reds down. Turn the yellows up. Turn the blues up a little.
Say I'm back.
It is the news that Celtics fans have long been waiting for.
Okay.
What kind of news that?
Okay. So maybe I'll reset that and I'll reset that too. Okay. Again, it's trial and error. Okay. You want to make sure you get everything balanced out first because it's all about balance first. That's balance there. Reds will be here. Go here. Bam. Color balanced. Okay. Now for this. Adjust the contrast a little. Very little. Very little. Okay. Contrast is up. Maybe I'll look at the saturation a little. Okay. I'll crank the saturation. Turn up the greens a little.
I'm back.
It is the news that Celtics fans have long been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming just to get.
Okay. So that gets you that super, okay, the greens are popping. Everything's there. So now if I want to go over to my color slicer, maybe I'll turn the greens up. Okay. Turn that there. And then I'll add a LUT at the end. Let's add just like kind of a cinematic look. To make the greens stand out more. Cool. Fujifilm. Okay. Bang. So that's a grade I want to go with for just that clip. Now, if I know that clip and this clip came from the same video source, I'll just paste my grade. Okay. Now let's see. That grade doesn't look so good on that one. Okay. So you're going to want to kind of mess with each one individually to see what you might need to change. So what if I want to go with that? I'll turn off the LUT. Okay. I'll turn off the greens. Okay. This one I might not have to do so much. Okay. As you can see, it's pretty well balanced, but the green is offset a tad at the bottom. So I want to be able to balance it still. Okay, turn up the blues. Reds are there. Turn up the greens. Cool. Then when I go to balance it out, okay. There we go. Where is it? So the blues got to come up. The greens got to go down. Now the blues got to go down. Bang. Now if I turn on everything else, maybe I don't turn that LUT on. Okay. It matches a similar grade and tone to that clip there. Okay. So now let's see this clip. Okay. Same thing. I go back and I change it all. So I'll turn that off, turn that off. Okay. I want to balance it out first. So my reds are out of control. Reds will be there. That's about the best I'm going to get it, I think. I'll turn this node back on. And I'll come over here again. Okay. My gain is a little too high on the green. There we go. The blues, the midtones I want to turn up a little. And then I adjust the white balance. Bang. So now what happens if I turn on this again, turn on this again? Bang. Okay. Now this grade is going to have to be copied to the freeze frame because it's the same grade. So, okay. There's that. Let's see what that grade looks like on this clip. Oh, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. And that one, not so much. So maybe this one, I will turn this off for now. Yeah, my color's all the way off in this one, as you can see. So I'll turn the blues down. Okay. I'll turn this on. Okay. Cool. So now my reds and greens are out of control still. So I want to turn the greens down. Nope. I want them to bottom out right there. Okay, maybe not. So I'll turn the exposure down here. I'll redo the contrast. Turn that back on. Now I'll adjust the greens. See, the greens aren't dark. So what I want to do is go back to my green here. Perfect. Now I'll go back here to my HDR wheel. I'll turn the gain. Nope. I'll turn the gamma up. Nope. Maybe in my HDR. I'll turn down the exposure a little bit. See, now my reds are too high. So I'll go back to my color. I'll go back here. It's all a guessing game, right? As long as you get the color completely balanced out, then your white balance will come out fine. Okay. So what if I want my white balance to match my qualifier here? Okay. Or maybe I will change the color temperature to be here. Okay. Or maybe I just reset the whole thing and redo it. Okay. So I'll reset that. I'll reset that. Okay. I'll change my white balance. My temperature is still out of control, but I want to white balance it to these white uniforms. Okay. So now everything is here. I want to turn down the gain on the blue. Maybe turn down the gain on the green a tad. Contrast is out of control. Change the color temperature a little bit. I don't want that saturation to be like that. See, I want the greens to pop, but the greens aren't popping like the other ones. This one I knew was going to give me the most trouble. It's not giving me that last clip for some reason. See, that's the green I want right there. That's the kind of color I want overall. All right, so I have to balance this out differently than the rest of them. So, yeah, see, it's pretty balanced right there. So then maybe I'll just change the white balance. Okay. And then I'll go here. So if you want to continuously look at see how this is, okay, you right click your node, go over to color space, change it to HSV, and then you disable channel 1 and disable channel 3. Okay. Now you're going to get your true color. So now you could go back and fix it. So I'm going to go back to my RGB balance. Turn down the red. Turn down the blue. I'll go here. Adjust the hue a tad. And that orange is coming out, which is good. And then I'll go to my highlights. Turn up the exposure. Then I'll go here, go to my color slicer. Turn up the green. See, I want that green. I want that green to pop. Cool. And now I'll use my qualifier to add the greens where I need to. Turn it up more. Go back here. There we go. See? All I had to do was adjust it a little tiny bit. There we go. That's it. Now I can change the saturation. And I can change the contrast again in my HDR. And now I'm balanced, right? So now I'll go here. It was this clip with the green. We'll add it to just that node. Bang. All right. And that colors. Oh, because I disabled that because of the adjustment clip. Maybe I should move that down.
By Jayson Tatum.
All right. So then the grade from that one, the grade from this one.
By Jayson Tatum.
Ooh, that's way too green. Way too green. And the contrast needs to, and the saturation needs to as well. There we go. Perfect. All right. So that's everything start to finish of how I normally do these types of edits. It's very simple, very straight to the point. Now I'm just going to add my little kind of create beyond orbit watermark on top of everything. And then I'll call it a day. So I'll add the effects back. I'll add my little watermark at the bottom corner. Mm-hmm. Okay. Out to the bottom corner.
It is the news that Celtics fans have long been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming just to get to this point.
All right. And that's that. So that's how I do my edits from start to finish. And that's how we kind of move forward with that. So any other questions, drop a comment. I'm going to be doing more of these every Monday and all these tutorials. So I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope you catch me on the next one. Follow me on YouTube and on TikTok and Instagram, Shots by Tech. Visit techbeats.com because the merch is coming soon for Create Beyond Orbit. I'm actually doing that today. So lots of stuff coming. Just be on the lookout. Follow and like for more.